Most consulting firms don't get marketing. And honestly, it's not your fault. You can grow to be a pretty darn big firm just on referrals. And that means without any ads, without any content, and without any marketing systems. But here's the thing. When referrals dry up and you're stuck downstream without a paddle and without a marketing engine, you're back to doing the one thing that you were trying to escape, selling every deal yourself. And that's the real problem with founder-led sales. Your growth is tied to you. The solution is to build a consulting firm-specific marketing strategy. So today, I'll break down for you the most important element of a marketing system, leads. I'll outline the 3 types of leads every consulting firm needs to understand if you want to build predictable demand and finally escape founder-led sales. Those are leads, marketing qualified leads, and sales qualified leads. Once you get this right, and by right, I mean right for your firm, your pipeline becomes predictable and you stop being the bottleneck. If this is your first time here, I'm Kevin Mara and I help consulting firm founders escape founder-led sales and build firms that grow without them. If you're stuck doing all the selling yourself, grab my free 9-step playbook to escape founder-led sales. The link is below. Before we get started, let's talk about where this problem comes from. Most founders don't learn marketing in the early years of their firm. You land a few anchor clients, and then they refer you to their friends, and you grow. Referrals feel like playing the game on easy mode, and it is, until they dry up and they're no longer easy. Then suddenly, you're trying to build a pipeline in panic mode. And you're doing this while still carrying the burden of founder-led sales. This is the moment when most consulting firms stall out. And it's because the founders are never able to build a sales function that doesn't depend on them. So let's get back to the basics and talk about leads. The definition of a lead is simple. It's anyone you can contact. At its most basic form, it's usually just a name and email address, or even just an email address. This can consist of old clients, webinar attendees, people who have downloaded your lead magnet, your mom, your competitors that are spying on you, your parole officer. You see where I'm going here? They're all leads. You have permission to contact them. If you're at the stage where you're collecting leads, here's the most common problem I see in my clients. That they collect leads, but then they do nothing with them. Collecting leads needs to be followed up with a nurture system. That means sending regular, value-packed emails that build trust and keep you top of mind before they ever talk to sales. Without a nurture program, you're hoping for lightning to strike. And by that, I mean that you cross paths with the right person at the time that they have a need for your services. It's better to look for the right people for your services and then stay top of mind with them with constant reminders about what you do. Leads, when they first come in, are not qualified in any way. It could be your ideal clients or just random people on the internet that like to download things. Surprisingly, there's a lot of senior citizens that like to do this. And if your ideal client does not have an age specificity to it, capping your age range in your advertising selection to 64 years old is a strategy that you might want to think about here. Okay, next, let's talk about step 2, marketing qualified leads. First, as you're building out your lead acquisition system, any lead is a good lead. And if they're willing to talk to you, then you'll want to talk to them all to figure out who is engaging with your content. In there's going to be gems and there's going to be turkeys, but all those conversations are valuable as you're just getting started. Eventually, you'll realize that not all of those first meetings are good meetings and you'll want to be a little bit more selective. And this is when you introduce the concept of a marketing qualified lead. Typically, this is a few simple questions that confirm the identity of the person engaging with your systems. What you're trying to do is filter out for people who are not the right person. For example, if you want to talk to supply chain executives at companies of over $100 million in revenue, you might ask, are you responsible for supply chain software for a company doing at least $100 million in revenue? And give them the option to check a yes or a no box. If you want to whittle down the number of leads that get approved as marketing qualified leads, you might ask industry with a drop-down menu and size of the company in a drop-down instead of just a yes or no question. The idea here is that when sales calls become cumbersome, to introduce a filter in the process to optimize for better quality leads. Again, this shouldn't be implemented at first go and should only be optimized for when you have an abundance of leads problem. Lastly, let's talk about a sales qualified lead. A sales qualified lead, or an SQL, is someone who's spoken to your team and is the right type of person that would buy from your company or could benefit from your firm's services. Your first conversation with a client that comes through your marketing engine is not a sales pitch. I've heard this first call referred to as a pitch slap before, and I think that's great. If you're pitch slapping, you're doing something wrong. You want to set a strong frame from the get-go that your firm is selective with who you work with. I don't care if this is the truth or not. This tension needs to be represented in how the sales team interacts with your prospective client. The first conversation should be a mutual fit conversation. It's an opportunity for both sides to qualify the other side. Are we right for each other is the context of the call, and not, here's what we do, or do you want to hire us? For a lead or an MQL to upgrade to a sales qualified lead, a stamp of approval from the sales team is required. This stamp of approval is given when the person is a fit for the company's services and the salesperson would be happy to move forward with them. At this point, please notice that I haven't mentioned anything about an opportunity. A sales qualified lead is someone who might buy now or at a time in the future. If they aren't actively looking for our services, that's okay. They're still an SQL. Or think about it this way. If you propose work to a potential client and you don't win the work, then the opportunity is dead. But the sales qualified lead remains, and they should be in your nurture cycle. You should check in with them, tell them about the conferences you're going to, and invite them to events. Okay, here's the big finale. If you want to escape founder-led sales, you need a predictable way to generate leads and qualify them and convert them without you being the engine behind every deal. The firms that grow beyond their founders are building systems to be intentional about sales. They collect leads, they qualify those leads on a systematic basis, and then a member of the team qualifies that person as being a fit for your firm's services. Once you've got those three pieces working together, you're no longer relying on luck, referrals, or your personal hustle to drive growth. Okay, that's all I have for you in this video. If you're ready to learn more about escaping founder-led sales, please consider downloading our free playbook. It breaks down the 9 steps to grow a consulting business that will grow without you.